I'd like to call to order the Douglas Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Wednesday, February 13th at 7 p.m. The first agenda item is discussion with North Brown LLC concerning North Village.
Do we have any documentation? I have nothing.
Apparently a whole bunch of stuff right here.
Mike, is that one?
It's in the packet.
Well, that's
Packet.
not what I was looking
What were you looking for? Sorry.
for. I thought we were gonna be getting information beforehand. Was that not-
Oh, no, we didn't.
No, I'm good.
That one cursed
Hey,
off.
Bill, how's it going?
I would encourage that.
Okay, Ed, the floor is yours.
So, Maria, excuse me,
I'm sorry.
Maria, did the zoning board not request that before North Brown came in, that we were supposed to be receiving information, not the day of the meeting? But, right, wasn't it not made clear to everyone? Okay.
You want emails sent?
Well, I just, this is not, we clearly said that we're not feeling good about getting information on the night of.
Yeah.
You know, it's much easier, Ed, as you know, to look at something, internalize it, come up with questions or whatever. So,
Well,
let this be the last time that happens, please?
well, what I have tonight is the unit sales spreadsheet,
Yep,
which I did send over on Monday.
okay.
So, beyond sending it, I don't know what to do. But in case you don't have it in your package. Yeah. You got it, okay. So, we're here basically to, two things we need to discuss. One, where we are in terms of the unit sales, and number two, just to give you an update in terms of the fire system. The cistern has been delivered to the site. We had a pre-construction meeting with Stantec and town officials last week, and we are going to proceed with the installation as soon as we can, as soon as everyone is in agreement. I'll let Tim describe that in more detail. He knows more about it than I do. The other thing is is unit sales. Since last month, January, we have entered into 3 more purchase and sale agreements, and one of them is an affordable unit. We have an affordable unit that is scheduled to close on Friday, and the other unit that we have under agreement is scheduled to close the first week of March, hopefully, if everything goes well. In addition to that, I spoke with SCB, our affordable housing consultant, today, and there are 3 applications that they're processing. Well, they're actually processing 2 applications. One, the third application has been approved by them, sent to DHCD, and we're waiting for DHCD to approve that. Once DHCD approves it, then they select a unit and we enter into a purchase and sale agreement. So hopefully that usually takes between 1 or 2 weeks, so hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll have that. The other 2 they are processing. There's a couple of items that they're missing, so they're following up on that. So we hope to, by the next meeting, be able to give you an update in terms of the affordables, and have at least 2 closed and a couple more under agreement.
So how many total would that be, Ed, of the affordables?
Well,
If it all works out.
if it all works out, it'll be 6.
Oh, that's great.
So what numbers did you just sell, Ed, recently, or since our last meeting?
What
were the
numbers did we?
street number?
But P&Ss, did we do P&Ss on? Is that the question? We haven't had any closings since January.
Okay.
Okay, but we signed P&Ss on Unit 4, which is the affordable. That's 8 Compass.
Okay, that's not listed as affordable on this
Yes.
sheet?
It is.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Where?
Number 4.
Number 4.
Oh, number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
Okay, so I was asking for street number, so
Okay. yeah,
we're talking unit number 4?
8. Well, I'll do it whichever way you want.
Whatever, unit number's good.
Okay, unit number 4. Unit number 14, although maybe that was before. It might have been shown, I didn't check, it might have shown up at the last one. And Unit 15. So those are the three. And we have occupancy permits on both of the affordables that are being sold. And the occupancy for Unit 64 at the end, we're just waiting for the building inspector to sign. Apparently, all the inspections have been done. Four Lease did the inspections, but I guess the new building inspector needs to actually sign the permit. So that's what I've got. And I don't know, Tim can maybe give you an update on the cistern. It's on site, and we've dug the hole and just waiting to put it in.
That's a simplistic version
It's
of
a
what Tim was
simplistic
about to
version.
say. They dug the hole, they put it in.
He may say the same thing.
I like it.
Okay, Tim, go ahead.
Tim Brallo, contractor for North Brown. The fire cistern's been delivered, it's on site, it's been offloaded. We've excavated the
When
hole.
did that happen? When did
Excuse me?
that happen?
Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. The hole's been excavated. The dead men for the hole had to be cast in place, so they've been formed and since cast, and now they're curing. Stantec's been out twice to site for inspections, and now we're just waiting for dead men to cure so we can strip the forms, backfill with the crushed stone, and then set the tank. And when are we scheduled to set it?
To set the tank next week,
Next week.
Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, depending on Stantec's approval.
What are you cabling it down?
What's that?
You cabling it down?
Crane.
No, cabling the tank.
Yeah,
with
crane,
the-
with a crane.
No. He's talking
Okay.
about anchoring.
Oh, anchoring it? Yeah, it's
Anchoring it.
being strapped down. Yeah, to
Being
the dead
strapped
man.
down?
Yeah. Yep. Get that? Yeah, it's being strapped. 10 straps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you don't strap it down, you go outside, you look at it, it looks like a big submarine coming up.
Take a picture and put
I
that
don't
on
think this will
Facebook.
ever come up.
How many gallons?
30,000. Anchor points for the straps, and there'll be 10 straps that go over the ribs.
How many gallons?
30,000. So, what else we got?
That's all I do, right?
Hopefully, we never need it. So that's where we stand on the system.
This is more.
Thank you. Tim, there's an email here from the 12th.
Yeah.
That Stantec had some issues with the cast in place.
No, there are no issues with the cast in place. No.
They were requesting some information.
Some
that we-
submittals
that
haven't been turned in yet.
we provided.
We're waiting for submittals from a couple of the vendors, but they will receive them. But there's no issues with the dead.
Well, I'm just reading it. It says that Stantec would receive and approve all product submittals prior to the installation or construction of each submitted item. However, we don't have the submittals for the rebar and the straight rebar or the 4,000 PSI concrete.
They since have those, except for the 4,000 concrete. Dolphin hasn't got it over to us yet, but it has been inspected by Stantec, and Stantec was there during the pour, and everything was fine. So as long as the submittals come in fine, there's not an issue with the dead men, and I don't expect an issue.
Okay, so they're looking for a plan as well, it looks like?
No, submittals. Submittals come from the vendor.
It says that we also receive a written plan regarding how they intend to comply with the ACI winter concrete requirements.
That's since
Prior
been,
to the
that's
concrete.
since been sent to.
Okay, so that's all happened between yesterday and today.
Correct.
It's a plan of action, not a.
That's why. All right, so you obviously have seen this where,
Yeah,
They
oh yeah,
said
we're,
that they-
we're on top of it. Yeah, the only thing we're missing from that is Dolphin's submittal on the concrete mix. that was supposed to be to us on the 12th, and they didn't get it over to us. He's claiming we'll have it tomorrow morning.
All right.
But JTC has been on site, they've taken concrete samples, and they have done testing.
Okay.
So, suspected it.
Okay, and obviously you saw the part where they, if they don't have the written submittals in hand, they're gonna suspend their inspections.
Understood. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Keeps happening.
Yeah. Bill, did you?
Yeah, just along those lines, I want to make sure that submittals are submitted in advance of the work, because as is indicated in that correspondence, Stantec does not plan to continue inspections until the submittals have been received for the work being performed. So that happens in advance of the work actually occurring.
And that's been clear for, all along?
We've said it a number of times, yes. We had our pre-construction meeting, it was discussed during then, and it was said over the course of a number of emails as well. But nonetheless, I think the point is made, I think everybody's on the same page. That's number one. With regard to Stantec, we, as Ed indicated, JTC is going to be going out and acting as a sub to Stantec. That is going to warrant some minor scope change because they did not anticipate having a soil testing company working under them. So if Ed's in agreement with that, we'll continue with that. And then along a different line, we had briefly discussed, I think at the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, the amendment to the amended MOU. We did prepare a decision. Ed is in the process of reviewing that. That's something the board will sign to basically ratify and memorialize the votes that were taken. There's one thing I would like to discuss along those lines, and this has to do with some drawings that are in your packet. And I'd ask you to pull them out. They're on 11 by 17. The first one we're going to look at is one that I have handwritten, in a cloud in the lower right-hand corner, approved comp permit. That's the actual drawing that was in the comprehensive permit documents. So this is basically what was permitted by this board. The other plan is an as-built plan that shows what's constructed currently out in the field, and it shows the housing units, and as we discussed previously, some of the housing units changed sizes, so they're now larger than they were. So the couple of things that I would like to see included in either the comp permit or this amendment to the amended MOU is that we get a new plan showing the revised drawing footprints or the building footprints, showing where they are supposed to be located. And on that plan, it will show a few things similar to what's on the approved comp permit plan. We have a 20-foot pavement setback. That should be shown on the new drawing. And we also have a 20-foot sidewalk setback on the other side of the road. Those should be shown to maintain consistency. As you know, with this project, we don't have lot setbacks like we do on a conventional lot. So the things the board used when they were in the process of developing this plan were setbacks from one building to the other, along with these road setbacks and sidewalk setbacks, to create the buildable envelope, basically. So we want to make sure that we're being consistent and true to what the original distances were in the original drawing. What I can see based on what's been submitted for the as-built, and I appreciate that they showed the original plan plus the new building footprints on this drawing. We have a deviation. Basically, the minimum setback has been 32 feet between units. And if you look over at unit 56 and 57, we're below, we're at 29 feet. And then there's one more unit. that's also below. It's unit 61 and 60 is at 31 feet, 31.1. So, I just want to make sure that the new plan shows the entire project, shows what the proposed setbacks are, so this board can take a look at it and basically make decisions. The other thing that you know, Four Leaf is indicating that they're a little concerned about is the setback for one of the new 8 units to the detention pond. And even on the original plan, it's fairly close to the side slope of the detention pond, but with the extended footprint, it's actually closer. So those are the kinds of things that will come to the surface when we see this revised plan. That's all.
The units themselves are, they show overlaid on the proposed units, and they're laying right on top of the proposed foundations. If you can see, it's hard to see. You got a bigger plan? No, we don't. Yeah, that's impossible.
The 29-foot distance, basically, the reason that it's 29-foot is because it's on the original, we laid them out on the original footprints, and there's those 4 units are at an angle, so as you extend, it gets a little closer. But, you know, just note that under zoning, with lot setbacks, you know, it's 15 feet. In industrial and also in VR, so that would be 30, and then under the town's flexible development bylaw, as you know, Dan, you can reduce those setbacks by half, so, you know, what's the 25-foot setback becomes 12 and a half, or what's a 15 becomes 7, so, you know, we think it's consistent with zoning in any of it, but it was just, you know, again, it was basically in that one unit. The 31 and 32 is, you know, is what it is. So, but we can have Heritage do it on this.
What are you off by, a foot and a half, 2 feet?
With their weight on top of the
What?
proposed
Right on
unit,
top of the
they're
proposed
high at the
Okay, yeah,
corners,
yeah.
so they got, as they got extended in the back, they got closer in the back. But the side is exactly as the proposed was on the plan,
Because of the angle.
because of the angle.
And again, it's only basic is this one. And these two because they're, you know, because they're interiors. So when we going forward, we'll make sure that when they're laid out, if we need to jockey the position to keep the 31 to 32, that we will do that. I mean, there are 31 distances shown on some of the units, but.
So Bill, did you want us to do something with the,
No, I wanted to update the board, and, you know, I assume everybody's in agreement that we need a new plan to go by so that, you know, we can anticipate some issues if they arise and maybe mitigate them, so we can address them before we get to the point where we're actually planning instead of reacting.
Right.
Yeah, I just thought it made sense to, if we're gonna do a written decision, we do one and not have multiple ones, because it gets, from a title, it becomes.
And I expect we can have this all put together for the next meeting.
Yeah, hopefully, and because at that point, this concern, hopefully, will be all in, and
Yeah.
any issue that might arise with that we'll know about, and we'll have a much better idea of affordables as well, so.
Any board members have any questions?
I know.
Okay. Guess we'll see you
See
7
you
o'clock
next
next
month.
month.
Next month. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, it is.
guess it's not a pleasure for them.
No, I guess it's not. It's a project. It really comes down to.
Okay, the next agenda item is case number 2019-01, public hearing continued for Dan Dudley.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Shane Picard of Lane and Hamer in Whitensville, here on behalf of Mr. Dudley, for a request for a continuance.
Can.
And there's some discussion going on with one of the neighbors, and based on that, we're asking it to be continued. Spoke to Maria, I think, earlier today, is that correct?
Yeah.
Maria spoke to you.
That's a good thing, we're just talking.
So, before we grant the continuance, we also need you to fill out something saying to give us another 30 days on the decision.
Sure.
I believe Maria has that form.
Thank
And
you.
it would be,
This is still over that little building.
Buildings. Yeah.
yes.
Mr. Chairman, do you have that case number again?
Yes, it's a 2019-01.
Easy enough to remember, right?
So we can give them another 30 days, because this is 100 days from application. I mean, it's like a set.
It is, but this agreement
Thank you.
says that,
That was easy.
that we'll grant them a continuance on the condition that they extend the decision, extension of time to make a decision.
Okay.
Signed by the applicant.
Yeah, I know, that's the issue. That was going through my mind.
Picard, do you think we're gonna hear this next month? I mean, I don't know how many people are here to discuss the case, and I hate to have people keep coming in.
Yeah, I believe so. My understanding is that everything's lining up. I have not been primarily involved in it, but I know the facts. And I know the basis for the request for the variance, but, without going too far into the details, there's the parcel that, is currently encroaching on the neighbor's property. I'm sorry, not the parcel, the barn shed. We're trying to discuss those details with the neighbor. And so we received a call from the neighbor's attorney today, and actually they initiated a request for a continuance, so we're trying not to step on toes in that regard. I know it's inconvenient, but
Trying not to
Trying to
ruffle
work-
any more feathers?
trying to work a global settlement here.
All right, so we have a request from the applicant to, case number 2019-01 for continuance to 7/15 in our March meeting,
March 13th.
March 13th.
So moved.
Okay, so we have a
I'll second it, but I do want to just say that with your with your discussion about possible abutters coming, makes it very difficult, and I think that Mr. Dudley ought to be put on notice that, we need to move forward with this, so that the abutters can exercise their rights.
So noted.
Okay, yeah, the continuance is
I understand.
not a guarantee.
So I second it.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the request for continuance from Mr. Bombara, seconded by Mrs. Holmes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
continue to March 13th at 7:15.
Hey, take it easy.
Good night, thank you.
For one more case.
All right, I do have some bills that need to be signed, I'll pass them around.
This is what I mailed this last
So Dan, handed out what you
Oh, yeah.
was on Southeast Main.
Oh, Got most of it, right? It's the wrong direction.
So I did go, yeah, 3 times. And that, a second time to the east place.
So that was at 7:30, so we have to wait.
Yeah, we have some bills to pay, so why don't we do that?
What's up, Wes?
Advertising?
Man, Brian, thank you, Steve. You can get that one till the end of the night, just make sure you put back in the job. I hate to be responsible for it.
Maria,
Yes.
are we advertising monthly on North Village?
I'll go to Steel. It's bad enough I
Is that what,
occasionally
is this
leave the lights on.
Telegram and Gazette?
I know.
No, that was,
I'm glad it's pointed out in the agenda.
that was to hire Stantec. No, Forley, to get,
The building company, the inspection company,
Oh.
right.
they advertised it to get.
They hired a company just
Okay.
for that? How much of it's done?
Of the development,
Take a ride.
I think about 26 to 30 units out
Yeah.
of 120.
So now what are we gonna do? Tear them all up?
No. From this point on, because we have a
okay,
part-time
this
building,
point on,
yeah, we have a part-time building commissioner,
Yeah.
I get
and he could
confused.
spend his whole time up there, but if
I
they
get
get
confused.
rolling.
So now after the crosses out the car, we shut the door. So they could go up there and find 30 things wrong on 30 houses that are up. What happened to them?
Well, I could say just like,
Oh, please.
No, I don't foresee it.
Huh?
I mean, I don't think
You're reading
I beg you
mine.
not to.
You're not
Yeah,
supposed
please,
to
I
be
beg you
reading
not
mine.
to. Yeah.
What I'm saying
Put
is,
flames on it. I mean,
what I'm saying it should have been from the start.
I don't think anybody would
well,
argue that.
we learn from these large projects, you know? We got so far and then suddenly we go, oh, we're drowning here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
when
know?
we-
It's
when
not
it's-
right.
Oh, I agree with you.
Not
It
right.
should have been from the start.
Yeah,
Well,
it probably will be.
When it started,
henceforth.
actually, we had a building inspector that worked 34 hours
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Changes,
Then we went
internal
down to
changes.
20.
And I think, how many hours you work now? How many
Up
we have?
to 19.
Is this
19?
a new guy?
Yes.
New guy.
Oh,
Just a
you
new
do,
guy.
yeah.
You didn't introduce
How you
the
doing,
guy.
Mark Caffline? Nice to meet you.
Mark Kaplan?
Caffreline.
Where you from, Mark?
I live in Uxbridge.
Uxbridge? Good.
I'm on the zoning board of appeals in Uxbridge.
Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, you're one of us.
See, he knows all around this stuff. No, all I meant
Posted up.
is this thing's been going for about 4 years, right? Okay? And now they hired someone to watch it.
Yep, I've been in communication with him.
You know what I mean? So now, yeah, so
What's this
it's on somebody else's shoulders, right? I mean, you know, that's it.
Well, I'm gonna start keeping an eye on it too.
Oh, I didn't even
I
read
mean,
it.
you know what I mean? That's, yeah.
The units that have been built up to now are under the
Yeah.
8th edition of the Massachusetts State Building Code, so they've been asked to change some things.
It's here.
But you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yes. People in high places.
But Dan's right, I mean, you could spend 34 hours a week
Yeah.
keeping an eye on that place.
Well, we should have been spending it.
I don't know. I haven't seen it before.
We could ask
Is that
them.
like,
Oh,
oh,
they left.
All right. The next
No.
agenda item
in South Street.
is a public hearing for Zachary Muscat. And it was advertised in the Telegram and Gazette, it was posted at the town hall, and it reads as follows. The Town of Douglas zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing at 7:30 on Wednesday, February 13th in the Douglas Municipal Center, Community Meeting Room, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. To hear the following application. Zachary Busquet is requesting a special permit in a rural agricultural RA zone district pursuant to the Douglas zoning bylaws, section 3.2.1, accessory uses in the residential district, number 5, garaging or parking of commercial motor vehicles to allow the parking of commercial vehicles in excess of 26,000 pounds on property located at 59 Southwest Main Street, Assessors Map 212, Parcel 25. A copy of this application may be viewed in the Community Development Office during regular business hours. Any persons interested or wishing to be heard on the proposed application should appear at the time and place designated. Maria, do we have the certified mailing back?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Right, and that's your voting?
I want to reclude myself.
Oh.
I'm in a butter.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you, Mike. So, Maria, if you could make note that Mr. Fitzpatrick's going to recuse himself in a butter.
Okay.
So the remaining members who will be voting on this case will be Mrs. Holmes, Mr. Tassino, Mr. Bombara, Mr. Holland, and myself.
She's not quite as good.
Okay, the applicant or your representative?
Yes, my name's Dale Kiley. I'm with the law firm of Bourgeois White and of Worcester. And we're here representing Mr. Bousquet on this application for a special permit.
The floor is yours.
Mr. Bousquet has a couple of commercial vehicles that exceed the zoning requirement. He's seeking a special permit. We don't believe it's any more detrimental to the neighborhood, judging by various uses that are already occurring in the neighborhood. These two vehicles are parked to the rear of a 3.39 acre lot. It's, the entranceway is paved, an apron is paved, and the rest of it is crushed grindings, which give the appearance of pavement, but it's really not. So it's no, pervious material. It's not
Covered with
impervious.
snow today, so hard to see.
Yeah, but it'll allow for drainage and whatnot. It's not an impervious material.
What kind of business?
Well, he doesn't run a business from the house.
Nobody gets trucks.
He has trucks,
So
so
what's he do with the trucks?
he runs a trucking.
Yeah, why don't we let him finish his
Oh, go
presentation?
ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Then we'll
So-
ask questions, though.
So on that point, Mr. Bousquet does run a business. The business is located at 782 Worcester Street in Southbridge. He has 4 trucks total. 2 trucks are always kept at the business in Southbridge. They're used for plowing. He has state plowing contracts. Those trucks are never at the residence. The only trucks that are there are the trucks that he would use to go to a job. So it's like you would take your car to work. His truck is his transportation to the job. So he doesn't run a business out of this location, but it is his mode of transportation to and from jobs. He has 1 triaxle truck and 1 tractor-type trailer truck. Depending on what he's doing on any given day is the truck that he takes. He leaves in the morning, comes back at night. He's not in and out of the residence, so it's a one-shot deal in the morning, one shot at night. If you look at the area, where they're parked is hidden from view to the abutters by tree lines in all directions, and from passersby on the roadway. They won't be seeing it. It's not like something you can see from the road. So for those reasons, we believe it's no more detrimental to the area that it's already in. From my understanding, there's somebody that has a bus, that fires a bus up in the morning close by, and there's motorcycle uses and another diesel pickup truck that's operated by an abutter as their mode of transportation. So there are loud vehicles that are being operated similarly at similar hours. So we see this no different than what's already occurring in the neighborhood.
But the pickup truck and the motorcycle don't weigh 26,000 pounds. And
Well, it's the weight
that's the zoning issue.
Yeah, but if zoning is designed for the abutters neighbors to get along, right? So although it's a big truck, it's no different of an impact except for noise. I mean, what's the impact from the large truck versus the pickup truck to the address? A site, so it's visually more significant. Noise may be more significant. So those are the issues. And in this case, we don't see that the noise or the sightliness of this vehicle would impact the surrounding environs.
What are the hours of operation?
He leaves first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning is,
What time do you leave?
Anywhere between 4 and 7.
4 and 7, depending on where he's going for that day. He's back anywhere between 3 and 7 p.m.
Yep, depending on how early you started, right? Gotta leave, gotta go home.
That's right,
Yeah. So he tells me he starts the truck up and he immediately leaves his residence and lets it warm up at one of the gas stations on 146. So it's not like he's warming it up and creating, but there is significant noise generated.
Excuse me, what's the zone in there?
all right,
RA,
Residential.
Agriculture.
RA, right?
all right.
So I went by today and I saw like dump trucks that were raised up so that obviously the snow would melt or whatever and would come out. But we're talking something that makes noise. Those don't make noise. So there's a front end that is somewhere that I didn't see today.
The tractor.
Yeah, evidently, yeah.
Yeah, yes, those are the
How many
two
of those
commercial
are there?
vehicles. There's one tractor, one triaxle.
Okay.
So those are the ones that are governed by the zoning
Okay,
bylaw.
he has one of each. And he's only using one a day?
One at a time, yeah. He doesn't have any employees, so that's his mode of transportation, so he,
Okay, so only one would leave there
Correct.
on any given day.
Yes.
There were 5 vehicles when I went there yesterday.
5 what kind of vehicles?
There was, I believe,
Pickup truck.
6. There were 4 trailers, a tractor, and a trailer, and a triaxle.
Well, trailers are not vehicles, so
We're talking, the zoning is 26,000 GVW.
motor vehicle, correct.
Right.
Trailers
So a
not
trailer,
motor
those trailers were well over 26,000 GVW.
Yeah, but they're not vehicles, so.
They have tires, they go down the road, I think it's, that might be your interpretation, but
Well, that's the state
Gotcha.
law that I'm interpreting, so under chapter 90, section 1, it defines a motor vehicle. They had this same issue with the town of West Boylston with an RV dealership. They're not motor vehicles unless they're attached. So as they sit there, trailers are not motor vehicles.
We have another bylaw for that, I think, don't we?
storage
This
trailers.
is, yeah, storage.
Go ahead.
And I can get you the definitions, I have them, it's chapter 90, section 1, and it defines a motor vehicle as a trailer only when being towed by the tow vehicle. So once you attach the two together, they become a vehicle.
Right, it's gotta have a motor,
Correct.
it's gotta have a motor.
Yeah, for the motor vehicle. But a trailer does become a motor vehicle once they're attached together.
Right,
so-
right,
Right, I'm going to open this up to any board members at this point, and the board's done asking the questions. Anybody in the room that would like to be heard will be heard, so.
Ask a question.
Sean?
What's a triaxle?
Yeah.
It seems very, like a very broad description. I can imagine a great big dump truck. or I can
It's a dump
imagine
truck with that third axle, and the third axle only comes down when there's X amount of weight in the vehicle. So you see a 10-wheel dump truck, this has 2 extra wheels, it's got an axle that's pulled up underneath. So it's allowed to carry more weight, but it needs that extra axle to carry more weight, so if it has more weight on, they just drop that axle.
If I could, one more.
Go ahead.
When we say tractor, is that the front of?
Yes.
A tractor trailer?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody else?
How's the neighbors feel about this?
Well, we're gonna find out soon.
Okay.
Okay. No other questions from the board at this time?
Not this time.
Okay. So, anybody that would like to be heard, you just need to be recognized by the chair. I need you to state your name and address, just for the minute, and for the record.
Are you gonna be heard? Yeah. No, go ahead. All right. My name is Frank Bosma. I live at 69 Southwoods Main Street, a couple of units up. If this man actually would've came around and asked us, you know, that he was doing this kind of project that he was doing, but he had no intentions of doing that, I don't believe, because he never came to my house and asked. This is a very nice neighborhood. I moved there, and it's very noisy when he does what he does. And sometimes he comes at 2 o'clock in the morning, done numerous times. And he just constantly, you know, is early, like 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, every morning, even on the weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, holidays. I mean, probably I would have thought different of him if he actually would have came around the neighborhood and asked, you know, would we mind if he put in there? Because he knew this was a residential area. This isn't a trucking business. And I actually believe it will make a value of our house decrease by him being over there. It's not a very pretty site, and we didn't come to live there in Douglas to have a trucking business on the side of us and pay all this money.
Right, thank you.
My daughter also has something to say.
Hi, I'm Hannah Murphy. I also live at 69 Southwest Main Street, two houses up. Same thing, value of the home would decrease as previously in real estate. And if you have a commercial property on the side, especially with noises going on, value of home decreases, along with all the neighboring homes, especially with site. Also, there's no covenant of quiet enjoyment, any type of agreement ever in place around the neighboring properties. Every person has a right to their quiet enjoyment of the property, so when that is affected, that's affecting the neighboring properties of enjoying their property that they paid for and that they pay monthly for. And that's all I have
There
to
was
say.
no covenant.
There's no covenant. There has to be an agreement between any type of property. But that's what I
Also,
think,
it's
so.
not currently allowed by zoning, so.
Right. So they also pay for the property as well, and they have the right to enjoy their property, and that's not what's happening. Waking up in the morning, we also have to get up early in the morning for our jobs, so, and the noises, we can't enjoy the property that they paid a lot of money for.
Okay, thank you.
Appropriate for me to ask him a question? I don't know how long it's been. Yeah.
Ma'am?
Kathy Garten, I live at 10 Churchill Road. So our property is actually towards the rear where the trucks are. There's property in between ours. But looking at the application, he said that the loading will be done in the rear of the property, will be done expeditiously. Currently, our property is toward, like I said, the rear. We have huge noise level, and our house actually vibrates when the trucks are running from it. And currently, our windows are closed, our heat's on, our TV's running. We can still hear the noise over this. It's long hours of idling. Loud banging associated with hooking up and unhooking various trailers. They occur at all times of the day and week, and then unusual, not within business hours. At night, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it wakes me up out of bed.
Sunday mornings, like you can't even have a quiet cup of coffee on Sunday morning, hours on Sunday morning. 4 o'clock in the morning, it's waking us up. And this is with everything closed right now, so it's really quite upset. So I can imagine what it's going to be like in the spring, the summer, and the fall. We do live in a quiet neighborhood. We all like to enjoy the outdoors. I'm sad that Mr. Fitzpatrick has to abstain, but I'm sure this is bothering his horses too, because they're right, the other corral's right there. So just that the character of the neighborhood's quiet residential setting, it's going to impact our housing. Sounds like we live near a truck stop right now. Environmental concerns, I'm concerned about the diesel fuels. And I'm also concerned that that his company is registered, has a DOT number on it, and he's registered as a trucking company with 2 units, and that he's housing 2 units, power units on his property. It's kind of hard to believe that he's not running a commercial business out of that property. So, those are my
Okay,
Excuse me.
go ahead, Lou.
How many people here are his neighbors that are complaining
Oh,
about this?
Lou,
No, I just want to know how many
no,
neighbors.
that's not-
Yeah, he wonders everything.
That's all. I just look and see how many neighbors, that's all. That's all. I mean, you know, these are the neighbors.
Is there anybody else who'd like to be heard? Sir?
Les Stevens, 31 Brookside. So I abut Zach in the back and stuff like that. So, you know, I've been in the town for about 40 years, and there's been a number of applicants who've tried to have trucking businesses in the residential areas and stuff like that in town of Douglas. This board, as well as the building commission, has denied them the use of that in their RA zone areas. I can name off Mr. Tebow, Mr. Porter, several others. You know, the town has commercial land for this purpose, for this use, you know, to the abutters as well. You know, it's a hardship on the abutters, really not on the owner of the property. So they're being impacted, their surrounding abutters. You know, and there's quite a few trailers. It's definitely like an operation of a business and stuff like that. I think, you know, being in the town for 40 years, I think Zach's been in the town for about less than a year. You know, there's a procedure and policy, you know, to research before something gets implemented like this. You know, we see the building department before we build a house versus just going off and doing it. So, and you know, I think the major concern is just the fact of, you know, it's a residential area, and we do have those spots. This is on Route 16, where you do have an RC2 zone, as well as down on our C1 zone area, as well as off of Route 16. And we have commercial land there for that purpose, where trucks can be stored and trailers can be ran and processed. So, and there's vacancies there at those locations. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else who'd like to be heard? Ma'am?
Yes. Excuse me. I'm Sheila Keough. I'm at 49 Southwest Main Street. I actually live on the corner of Churchill and Southwest Main. And I want to actually ask you if you're familiar, you hear a lot of conversation on the Facebook pages and whatnot about the helicopters that go overhead at night. Are you familiar with that at all? Okay, yeah, then you're all good. You guys hear it? Yes. The helicopters that go over, it's always talked about going, what are they doing? That's the same noise, it's the same level of noise that is in the house. And like these folks said, the windows are closed, the heat's on, the TV's on, and my floor vibrates. I sit on my couch and it's vibrating, and we go, is that the trucks? And you just stop and listen and go, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And you can hear them, and there's no rhyme or reason to time. And what really surprises me is the duration. It goes on top of the top. If you're just starting and leaving it, I might think of it differently. But I would like to sit out my deck at 7 o'clock at night on any given night and not see through the lights, see the lights through the trees and hear the whole time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Sir?
Bob Campbell.
No, right here, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, 62 Southwest Main. I live right across the street from this guy trying to set up. He talked to him way back when, and it was just gonna be a horse place, and they were just gonna cut in a road over the side there, and they were gonna have the horse because they had a trailer that they had to get in and this and that. And then a week went by, and constant in there with the tractor trailer, removing fill, truck after truck for 1 week, right? 1 week, just removing fill and bringing more stuff in. The doors on the barn, right, was just to be, you know, horses. It wasn't just for horses. He took the doors and raised the elevation so he could get his trucks inside the barn, right? Okay, now he said he's only gonna operate for a certain time. Tuesday, October 9th, trucks 7 to 9 p.m. In and out, in and out. Friday, October the 12th, flatbed trucks, in and out. I don't know whether he was bringing stuff in and stocking his place with all the flatbeds or what have you. But the hours, right? Tuesday the 16th, 6 p.m., truck and trailer. He's got that big trailer with the big chrome exhaust. Big chrome. Thing's gotta be 12 feet high, 15 feet high. I mean, that's big to come down. And it's got an aluminum body. So every time he comes in, and he got something in there to shake out the truck, and how they take it and they hit the brake, and bang, that aluminum, it'll knock you off your seat. Go up and get the mail, you go across sometimes, you can hear them fire up the rig, and what do you smell? The fumes. The fumes right out into the street. Then, where he goes in and he parks these rigs, right? Now they come out and they come around, I gotta walk across the street to get my mail. There's oil, whether it be kerosene, whether it be fuel oil, brake fluid or what, comes right down and goes going into the barn, right? So the hours that he's saying he's operating, I get a whole list of different hours compared to what he's saying, right? Then he's doing some work across the street. November the 12th, we had a terrific rainstorm, right? Terrific. He's out there bulldozing up and down the street, track marks on the street. The road superintendent just put a patch on the edge of my my speed bump to keep the water from coming down, a little patch about this big. He comes down with the dozer, brand new patch, and cracks the damn thing, leaving checker marks along there. How can I work with a neighbor like that? He's gonna say he's doing this, he's got a representative over there. That man can't be believed. He lied to the town superintendent about the opening of for his trailer for the horses. Look how wide, that thing is 60, 70 feet. And then sometimes he'll come right down, the guy that was here that was early, that represents the town, I had him up, right, they asked me when they were gonna be building, well, what could we satisfy you with, to help you, on the water that comes down the street, the puddles and this and that. I says, I'd look for an earth berm. Well, this guy comes along with his trailer, after putting an earth berm, crushes it, so now the water comes down the street, right, down into my land, floods my land. This is a trucker. Truckers are bad people, as far as I'm concerned.
No, we're not gonna get into it.
Well, he's done everything he could to hurt me and upset me. Between crushing the mix on my driveway, crushing the earth berm that keeps the water from Southwest Main Street to go down to what's it, Stone, the place they were enters out. The water's coming down into my land.
Okay. Anybody else would like to be heard? Sir?
Bruce Rio, 11 Churchill Road. I really feel for all these neighbors who live close, because I live about 1,100 feet away. That's a fifth of a mile. And I hear and feel that as well, the noise. And they're absolutely right about the hours just all over the place. And I really fear what's going to happen if this were to get approved, and how it would just be abused. I mean, it's obviously been abused already, because there's no permits and things are going on. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Sir?
Keo, 49 Southwest Main Street. I have two dwellings between my house and Mr. Busquet. And one's Mike Fitzpatrick, and again, the horse farm was cited. But we have two structures between our house. And when my wife was talking about, we hear the helicopter. That's through two houses. When we go into our backyard, now the backyards are all sort of open. My backyard is open to Mike Fitzpatrick's backyard, which then goes to Mr. Busquet's backyard, and then the next property is the already established garage or site, trucking site for operation. And, so it's not a matter of that, coming for a permit. I think somebody said it already. It's not a matter of coming for a permit before the fact that, it's, this is already done, but I mean, I don't want to hurt any small businessman. I had my own business for a number of years, and I might want to come in here for a permit for a variance of some sort for, put a building on my property that I could have a studio. if somebody needed to store their snow plows or something like that, you know, it wouldn't have the impact. But the idling and the repair, and, you know, there's 2 trucks, but now there's all these trailers and triaxles, you know, so it's, you know, an inch to a mile type of situation. It is, yeah, the noise is something. The maintenance on Sundays, you know, I understand as a former business owner, he's got to, you know, repair, you know, service his vehicles on his days off. You know, he doesn't have a day off. You know, he's working, and then he's servicing his vehicles. You know, so, I mean, I feel for him. But this is a really nice residential area. Roland's got a beautiful house directly across the street. There's another beautiful house that just went in right beside Roland's, and to the side and right behind it, closer to Morse Pond and the lake, or behind Roland's property. Can't imagine what it's like for them. You know, so in any event, but, you know, I feel for them, but it's just the impact of the neighborhood is significant. It's really significant.
Okay. All right, is there any other board members that have any questions?
Does anybody left out here?
I don't think so, we've got everybody.
Got everybody?
So maintenance is done on that site as well?
No, there's not maintenance done on the site. I pay garages to do work on my trucks. If I've ever left on a Saturday or a Sunday, it would have been to drive to a mechanic shop. I do not work Saturdays, I do not work Sundays. I drive, if I've ever left on a Saturday or Sunday, which I have in the past, yes, it would be to drive my vehicle to a mechanic shop to get fixed. I don't fix them in my yard, I don't do anything. If I've ever fixed anything, maybe I got a tail light bulb or something out, but nothing. I'm not a mechanic, I'm not tearing trucks apart in my driveway. As far as oil goes, I've never drained a drop of oil in my property. It's not one. My truck, is it loud? Yeah, I probably agree. Do I let it idle? I've never let my truck idle more than 5 minutes on my piece of property. There's tractor trailers up and down that road all day long that are not mine. Every day, all day, all night, there's trucks.
Yeah, they're on a town road.
And
What's the difference?
it is a public way, but I do not let my truck idle. Not one of these people complaining is a direct neighbor of mine. Their house is away. How do they even know it's me? There's trucks all day long.
It just started.
I leave in the morning, I come home in the afternoon. Do I leave? I left at 4 or 5 in the morning. I don't work nights. I haul salt out of Providence. I leave in the morning. I drive to Providence, Rhode Island. I leave at 4 in the morning, 4, 5 in the morning. I come home 3, 4 in the afternoon, and I park. I fuel my truck in the morning just to let it warm up because I don't let it idle on my property. I let it idle for 2 or 3 minutes to build enough air pressure to drive. If there's been ice storms where I let my truck idle for 30 minutes to clean the windshield, that's been twice this year, so I don't run anybody over on the street. I can't drive with ice on my windshield. That's the only exception I've ever had of idling more than 5 minutes. That's it.
Pam?
How long has Mr. Busquet owned the property?
About 6 months.
You've owned the property for 6 months?
Well,
Less than a year.
less than a year.
Okay. And when did he undertake the changes to the property?
Right away. I have 2 horses. I have, and that's why I moved there, was for the barn. And like, what Dale said, I do have 4 trucks. 2 stay in Southbridge where my business is located. My business is registered in Southbridge. My trucks are registered to the town of Southbridge.
Could I have the name of your business, please?
C. Busquet Trucking.
That's easy.
And the 2 trucks that are at my house are the 2 that I drive. That's it.
So Oxford Southbridge is getting the excise tax on those trucks and you're parking them in Douglas?
No, they're not. I just got my excise tax bill yesterday from the town of Douglas for all my vehicles, and I did not pay it yet. I got it in the mail yesterday. But they are registered to Southbridge. Southbridge did not send me an excise tax bill. I don't know why. And that's part of my thing here, is I got $3,000 in excise tax bills on my table, and I can't park my trucks on my property.
Right, you bought land in a residential neighborhood.
And
Well, you can park one by right.
No,
One,
Not the big
less,
ones.
less than 26,000 GVW.
Less than.
You can park one by right.
what's less than,
You don't have
that
one.
triaxle's not less than 26,000.
Not the triaxle, but a regular size 10-wheel dump truck is less than 26,000 GVW. So
Not 10 wheel, 6 wheel.
Six-wheel.
A six-wheeler, not a
Yeah,
10-wheeler.
not 10.
10-wheeler is gotta be,
10-wheel's
I
good.
own 10-wheeler, 73,000.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
once you
10's
attach the
too big.
trailer, it's the total weight.
Yeah.
Did you,
Yes.
All
did
right.
your client do any research to check on zoning laws and stuff before he purchased his property? That's quite an investment.
Yeah, they doubt it.
It's my first home, and no, I didn't know, I'm 23 years old.
Congratulations.
I don't
You're a
have,
homeowner.
I don't have experience in this stuff. I did not come here to, like, I didn't know. I guess that's my thing. I did not know.
Sure.
And that's the honest truth. Did I know it was residential? Yeah. I did not know what that meant.
Yeah.
I never re-registered my business. I still have an office in Southbridge. That's where my mail goes. That's where my office is. That's where I do my work.
So you're renting property out there in Southbridge, huh?
Well, my father lives out there.
Okay.
And so he does not charge me to rent.
So is it your business or your dad's?
Mine.
There used to be a body shop back in the 70s,
Where?
your barn.
Yeah, I mean, the barn is for horses. There's nothing in there. I have one toolbox in there. That barn's full of horses. There's no.
Way back when,
There's,
back in the
It's been
70s,
on,
mid-70s up to the early 80s.
In terms of Bad Luck Pond is,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up over
where would it be, right there, right?
Across the
Yeah.
street.
Off of 16.
It's up,
So-
it's further.
This is 16 right here.
Or are you talking about, no, Bad Luck stands further.
But I would just, I'll ask the applicant, maybe he knows. And I don't want to ask him before, it's his attorney's business, so I'll hold on.
Excuse us.
Yeah, well, why don't we keep this?
No, can I ask the applicant something?
Through me or
No,
directly?
I just,
Okay.
yeah, directly, if it's
Sure.
okay. Isn't there a trucking company sign up the street on the right?
yes, there is.
There's a big fence in front of it, right?
Sure is. It says something trucking. I drive by it. I've driven by it a bunch.
Chaconi.
There's
All of his trucks are small.
there's other stuff on the road that made me lead to think that I did not have a problem when I bought the house. You know, I like that sign, the trucking company, the fact that it's Main Street, the fact that I went and looked at the house 10 times before I bought it, and every single time there's trucks and trailers and equipment up and down the road, so.
That's a public road. It means nothing to the property or the surrounding road.
Yeah.
in this town. There's a lot of house construction in this town.
You're talking about
Trucks going to and from.
Anybody else have any other questions?
It's corner of Cedar Street.
Can I say
Yeah.
something?
Yep.
Peter Gert, I live on Penn Churchill Road.
Okay.
The biggest problem I have, I like to see the guy, young man, start out his business and all that stuff, and I feel for him, but it wakes me up 4 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes at 10, I've heard it at 10 on Sunday. It's a steady drone. We like to sit out by the fire or campfire or whatever, or just enjoy the barbecue in the summertime. I just can't see that as an enjoyment, you know, it's not gonna be the same. It's changed our life quite a bit since these trucks have moved in there. You know, there's noise at all different hours. And I understand, because I'm a warehouse manager, and we have trucks coming in by the hundreds all the time. I know the business really well, so I know what's gonna happen in the future. You know, if we let it pass, it's not gonna get better, let's put it that way. You know, he's gotta run his business, so, that's all.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Would anybody go?
Sir, do you have anything to say other than what you said before? Because I don't like you calling people names or,
Well, okay, all
It's-
right, all
okay.
right, but
All right,
here
make it
again,
quick, go ahead.
Here again, right, on 1/6/19, right, at 4 PM, changing tires on the dump and the trailer in front of the barn. I heard the impact. I says, let me go see what's happening. I walked from my property up to the edge of my property, and there it was, impact. He must have a compressor in there, removing the wheels on the 10-wheeler. Now, he says he don't work there on his trucks. Well, what is that? Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
So
Sir?
we're getting,
I'll be the last one, I think. Louis Himshik, I live on the 14 Churchill Road. I'm not as impacted as my neighbors. I'm becoming a snowbird, so I don't hear as much. But I do feel for them, and when I am home, I do hear it occasionally, where I live.
Thank you, sir. All right. Board, there's no other information, we can close the public hearing.
we're getting he said, she said information.
I understand.
Mr. Chairman.
Right.
Can't you,
A lot of
would
lot of
they,
neighbors.
would they limit something? Give them a limit? They say one truck?
Well, it's the use and the irregard with
It's a
regard to
time thing
noise.
with most
Yeah.
of them that are here. It's the hours that
Yeah.
it does keep. And I'm sympathetic to that, because
Yeah.
being a self-employed guy today, trying to make it on his own at his age, got a house at that age,
Yeah.
I sympathize.
So is there any way that we can ask neighbors to call the police? Can we involve the police? And if we get whatever, then make our decision. I just feel really bad.
I wouldn't want to live next to it, I can tell you.
No.
I've always believed that one has the right to do what he wants with his own property, of course, but it comes with
When it
great,
infringes.
when it starts infringing, and I still feel that way. You know, you gotta say to yourself, whether a neighbor of mine, a long time ago, having a fifth wheel in his yard for, going out camping, plus he's got a 30-foot speedboat, then he's got a utility trailer.
You're just
You know
jealous.
what I'm saying? No, it's just the factual stuff that's, the fact that it's 26,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And, it's a diesel. Some of these Dodge trucks are sold out as pathetic, and because they're Cummins. I'm a truck guy.
Hey, Dan.
And,
Yes.
He makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
He should,
It just-
he should live on West Street,
Try Main Street.
next to.
Just try Main Street someday. Yeah.
The guy that owns
Yeah.
this
You live next
store
to a business.
downtown, West Street,
So.
next to my house.
Hmm.
Who's there? Sonny's house. You know Sonny?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
that house?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And again, there's the air and the,
That's
you
all.
know what I'm saying? So,
We gotta
I
talk-
understand it.
We gotta talk to
And I-
him about that. That's his first assignment.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Come see me
So
tomorrow.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay.
Is there any more information that we can get from any source that will
Well, if you,
assist
yeah,
us
if you
before
want
we
to
close it?
postpone this for
I don't have
a
to.
month, okay, all
I
right.
don't
So,
Does the applicant
Yeah.
want more of an opportunity to develop any more information?
Yep.
I'd be willing to do anything. Put up a fence if they said, oh, you can only leave at a certain time, whatever it is. The point of the matter here is that I have nowhere to park my truck to go to work. That's how I pay my bills. I paid a lot of money for the house. It's my first house. If someone give me a place to park my truck, it'd be a different story. That's how I work. That's how I pay my bills. If someone says that, put up a fence, put up a tree, do something, I would be willing to do whatever.
But our job is to protect the neighbors,
Well, it's my
and they all go to make a living, they all paid a lot of money for their homes too, so it's not just about you, it's about the neighborhood.
And that's what I'm saying. Is there something that I could do that
That's
would,
not up to us
that
to
would
figure
make
out.
it better?
Yeah, I think you need to find a
With all
place
due
to park your
respect,
trucks that are in a business zone.
I think it's well within this board's province to restrict it to hours.
We're not saying really compliance to anything like that, though.
But it's my understanding that somebody in that cul-de-sac right behind the property runs a lot of heavy equipment at all hours. Big excavator and
That was only
operation
when
like
he
that,
was
so.
fixing his retaining wall.
That's not.
No.
Okay. That's irrelevant. to this.
Not really, because we're talking about more detrimental to the neighborhood as it
Right.
is. So if you have all that noise, these people that are abutters,
That's
that are,
normal, that's
they're
normal.
saying that there's noise created, but they don't know where the noise is coming from.
I do.
They can't
I
speak
live
to
right
it.
on the side of it. I live right on the side of the
I
guy.
think it's-
I've never been by your house.
I know, you try to be, you try to be quiet.
Let's
I
see, it's
give you
31.
that much.
You know, there's available commercial lots and other lots, you know, along Route 16 and land to be parking trucks and equipment in town that are already zoned for this purpose. You know what I mean? So, there's quite a few people who are truckers in this town, and they literally commute from their house to the lot, you know what I mean, the commercial lot, and that's the purpose of this. You know,
That's why
and
we
it's a
have zoning.
residential area, it's been, you know, and I just want the board to be consistent with past decisions, you know, that other people, longtime residents have lived in this town, and truckers that, you know, have, you know, made their changes to their life and purchased, commercial property and other lots to hold their equipment. So, and I think, you know, the concern is the kind of devaluation of the area.
Right.
I have one more thing, if you mind. He also said that, you know, he didn't know that he couldn't do this. I mean,
Ignorance is no
is
excuse.
that our problem, that he didn't know?
It's not.
That should have been his
understand.
problem.
Right.
And somebody, his relative or somebody, his father, like you said, his father has a trucking business or whatever,
Right.
he should have asked. And like I told you before, if you would've came around the neighborhood and maybe asked me, like, say, look, I'm gonna start a trucking business down here, I got a couple
No,
of big
just
trucks,
direct your
do you mind?
comments here, okay?
I mean, that would've been a whole different story, but he had no concern about what we felt about this.
Okay. The board ready to close the public hearing, or do we need more time? Want to continue the public hearing? I think we've heard probably as much as we're gonna hear.
I agree.
I'll second.
Was that a motion, John?
John made a motion, I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did for.
Okay,
yeah,
close the public hearing.
I
yes.
remembered.
Yes.
Apparently he did.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bombara, seconded by Mrs. Holmes to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, do we want to make a decision
Aye.
tonight? We have until, well, we have 90 days from tonight.
So let me talk this out. So if we make a decision and vote that, no, we're not gonna offer him relief, what is his time limit to cease and desist, shall we say?
Well, I would
And
say he's-
move things or whatever.
Well-
And I'm looking for that to try to allow him some time to work in the town and figure it out. You know, he's gonna have to take a day off work and you know, walk around town and check out with people and
Well-
go into the goodness store and go into Harry's
He can't
and
go to goodness.
talk, he's gonna come and talk to
He's
you
gonna close
and.
them down.
Huh?
Well, then there are other places around the area too.
Yeah.
Doesn't
there's a
have
lot
to
of
be
places.
Douglas.
There's a lot of places, people park trucks.
We do it on buses, just in our own town, all school buses. We
Yeah.
do with school buses.
I mean, I'd like to see him stay in town. He's got his horses, he's got a place for the horses. But I think he's, right now, is infringing on his neighbor's rights.
Yep, yep.
So,
Well, I guess,
want to move to a decision? Certainly there's enough time to, you know, we can say, you know, give him 60 days, 30 days, 60 days.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to give them time to get straightened out.
That's correct.
That's what he's saying, that's what she's
That's
saying.
what I'm saying.
Say, let it go
Whether-
for
if
90
it go-
days.
if it goes that way.
Yeah,
that's a
90
long
days.
Yeah.
time. It's a
It
long
is a
time.
long time.
90 days is a long time for
Yeah.
neighbors to
Yeah,
continue.
I'm saying
We're gonna get
30,
into
60.
warm weather shortly
Well, we could put conditions on it as well,
on,
an extended period, or 30 days with no middle of the nights, no idling. Or if we get any complaints,
I don't know if we can grant
Probably not.
temporary relief.
When we asked the building inspector, he's sitting right here.
Yeah, smarty.
What was the question? Can you
If we
grant
gave, if we gave,
temporary
if we
relief?
gave the applicant a time limit, and what it would be the law to you reading this? Meaning, how long does he have after we
You
make
can't
a
give him
decision?
temporary relief. You can give him
Okay.
relief, or you can't give him relief.
Right.
Okay.
If you vote, if you deny him right now,
Yeah.
then he has to cease right now.
Okay, that's what she's
He's in
asking.
violation.
See, we're trying to get away from that. We're trying to say, give him 30 days to do something, move his stuff all out. Get
Well,
it-
he has a place in Southbridge.
That's true.
Not a place I can park. It's my office. I can't park them under the desk.
You
Well,
know-
I was asked the question, they answered the
Thank you.
question.
Yeah, you're good.
Not
You're good. Thank
something
you.
that should have been considered before you
Yeah,
did what you did.
yeah.
And again, you know, we get one guy like this, they'll be popping up all over town. You know?
I have a picture.
So
I'm willing to make a motion.
Make a decision, open the decision hearing.
Yeah, decision
Okay.
hearing.
Okay, so,
I'll move that we open the decision hearing.
Well, second.
okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Holmes, second by Mr. Bovar to open the decision meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Decision meeting is open.
I'll say that we'll grant Mr. Busquet, case number 2019-02, a special permit for
It's, you want the bylaw.
Yeah, the bylaw.
Hold on. It's,
Shoot, who did I give it to?
Oh, me, I'm sorry.
I'm looking for it.
Part of my evil plan.
I can't find it.
Sorry.
Take your time.
That would be, let me see, the parcel identified as an assessor's map as 212, parcel number 25.
It's not here. I'm looking for it and I can't find it, but.
Yeah.
That cover sheet.
Oh, 3.2.1, accessory uses in residential areas.
3.23.1,
3.2.1 is the special permit.
special permit. Yeah. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome.
Okay, so your motion is to approve this special permit
Yes.
based on that bylaw that
Yes.
just recited.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bombara, second by Mrs. Holmes. Any further discussion?
None.
Well, I'm
ahead.
curious, it's only because of the possibility of litigation. What are we finding? What findings are we proposing? Or what factual basis are we acting upon?
It's not allowed.
That's it?
It's
That's
not
it.
allowed, period. It's in a RA zone, and you cannot store a vehicle that weighs over 26,000 pounds in a RA zone.
And we're going to attach the special permit criteria. Section 9.3. And that the social, economic, and community needs are impacted. Neighborhood character and social structures are impacted. Impact on natural environment, is it due to noise, smells, etc., and vibration is impacted. Fiscal impact, including impact on town services, tax base, and employment. If the homes are going to be devalued, that's impacted. So there are impacts all through the special permit criteria by allowing this, is the point. That's, I think we need to put that in our decision. The special permit criteria to allow a special permit are all not met, yeah.
I was just,
Did she
my,
answer?
my only issue is, again,
Yes.
and again, the reason I asked it from the applicant wasn't that I'm describing anything. Right up the street is a business, there's a trucking business. It's a big sign and it identifies itself as a trucking business. You got a ton of traffic that comes out of that Thompson Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
We've all driven down that
Yeah.
roadway at night,
Yeah.
you got all the crazy.
I have not
I don't-
seen that sign.
I feel that there's something more going on here than just storing vehicles, only because of the vibrations that are described and the disturbances that are described by the neighbors, that was all.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's necessarily, I don't know, it seems to me that there's something else going on the property than mere storage of vehicles.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And and in terms of, I guess that was the point that I was attempting to raise. Just because it seems to me, if you look at that roadway, again, as somebody who travels on it on a pretty decent basis,
Yeah.
I live at the end, I gotta go through Webster to get home, I help all everybody's in the show and burn my house down. But, there's a description of helicopters that are flying overhead, so there's loud noises. Again, there's a trucking business up the street.
Right.
There's a lot of trucks that come out of the speedway.
Yeah.
But I think that it's the fact that there's some excavation work that goes on, that there's vibrations to the neighbors, that it makes it very difficult for the neighbors to enjoy their homes, would be the basis of denying it, in my opinion. So I was just curious as to what factors we were gonna put forward for affirming it or denying it, that was all. But I don't dispute any that you proposed.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can certainly write down why.
Oh, absolutely. And the building commissioner's here, and
Yeah.
we can draft a decision, we all get to review it.
Sure, and sign it. So we made a motion.
We made a
I
motion
seconded.
to approve the special
approve it.
permit for
Right.
Zachary Busquet. All in favor of approving the special permit? Opposed?
Aye.
Why is this approved?
It's not. They made a motion, so it has to be.
Oh, the special permit is denied.
Mr. Chairman, may I explain to the audience what they were a little confused?
Oh, yeah, yeah, whatever.
Go ahead.
We all, so there's no confusion amongst the members, we always make a motion in the positive. And that's what Mr. Bombard did. He made a motion to approve it. It was denied had 5 votes against it. But we always make the motion in the positive. So that's,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you for your time.
All right,
Appreciate it.
good night.
I like the
No,
zone.
you made a
What's that?
It doesn't weigh over 20 pounds.
I've been back since 2005. I'm from Hopkinton originally. Used to be small like Douglas.
Good friend of mine, he died, McIntyre, did you know him?
Yeah, McIntyre's, yeah, I went to school with one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, could you take it outside and close the door for us when you leave? Thank you.
Just met, smack in the face.
You're kicking me out too.
All of them.
You can stay.
Yeah, Tom,
We gotta keep you here.
you can stay, we don't care.
Come on, get up here.
So I do have one question.
Look at this.
Don't make it too hard.
Why is the building inspector writing the decisions? Isn't that a conflict?
That is actually what the town administrator wanted.
What's that?
That's what the town administrator wanted.
Really? All right.
And I believe it might have
This
been
guy's up there with
the
a
administrator
tractor.
prior to
He's
this
pounding
current
nails all the
administrator.
time, he's doing all this
But
crazy
who's
shit.
that?
It's you.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
this
okay.
is the zoning administrator.
Louis,
should be
Louis, there's
writing
another
the
conversation
decision.
here?
This decision should also probably be
I
written by
love
the
you, Pam.
town council, the lawyer.
Yeah,
I
we can-
believe.
we usually have them do the ones that we think might be problematic.
This,
You got a piece of equipment there.
In what
Give us-
way? Let me ask you that, in what way? Because of what he said?
just because he's gonna try to fight it.
Yeah.
He was insulted,
Who was
not
this?
by you guys, but. by
Oh,
the-
well, I
Yeah,
don't blame
yeah,
him, but
yeah.
he's 23. You can't have that
You
thin
can't
a
have
skin
that
when
all
you're
the time.
23.
Can't do it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I
tell
don't
you,
think it'd be wise,
hey,
guys, are good to talk
I'm
about
gonna
a
tell you
hearing that we
guys.
just believe and have a
No.
written opinion about.
No,
I know you guys don't like to listen to me because I'm on.
no,
all
I
the-
just couldn't hear the
You
conversation
know how
next to
many
me.
people got trucks in
I
their
was just
yards
talking
in
about the
Douglas?
decision.
Probably a lot, Louis.
I know how many.
No.
Really?
51. 51.
Fabulous.
Yeah, but 49 of them are in
Do you know all the addresses?
My yard's all commercial, 51 of them. Okay, 51 of them.
Have big ones. is
All
what you're
private,
talking
they're
about.
all what they call 'em, private operators.
Well, I guess
right?
maybe they're not irritating their neighbors with noise.
Yeah, maybe.
Ours.
And if this kid was
it's
smart,
not.
he would've went around and talked to
If we
everybody,
wanna go
right?
that way, who made all that problem right there? That guy sitting right there.
Right.
Les Stevens made all these people show up tonight. That's a fact.
Okay, John, we're
Yeah.
not gonna go down that road.
All right.
You don't know that for a fact.
He
You
was-
don't know that for a fact. You can't make people do anything they don't want to do.
That's
When he
right.
talks to me.
The meeting
yeah.
has not been adjourned, I want to remind everyone.
Correct.
So we have-
I don't care, but
Okay, we
don't tell
doing
me,
minutes?
don't tell me.
Yes.
Yes, let's do the minutes.
There's nobody in town that's got them. There's 51 of them. Ask me how I know that.
I actually fear asking you that.
51 of them.
Yeah, but he also told me I had a tractor a couple of.
Yeah. You're up here on a tractor. Don't give me the bullshit.
Mike, first of all, Mike, I just want you to say that you are loved by
Okay,
your
guys,
neighbors.
this meeting's still in order
I'm
here.
curious.
That's
Okay,
right.
Horses.
Someone
they
loves
say?
you. They said you were good.
Oh,
yeah?
I had to think twice, but they
Okay, guys,
said.
let's do the minutes,
Yes.
okay?
Which one, January 19th?
Herding cats.
Yes.
19th or 9th?
9.
9th, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's no
one on yours. Let me clean your glasses. It takes more than that.
Tonight, right? Okay.
Yeah, I move that we approve the minutes as written on January 9th of 2019.
You need those at home,
Yes, I did.
or your speed reader.
Yeah, no, no speed bumps.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bombara, seconded by Mrs. Holmes to approve the minutes for the meeting of January 9th, 2019. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved as written. Okay. I don't have any other business. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Bombara, seconded by Mr. Fitzpatrick to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The meeting's adjourned at 8:28.
Okay.